Welcome to The Real Deal on MPD with Myra. I want to thank you for coming back to tune into another video. If you don't mind, before we get started, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about new videos that are being posted. And if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. That will help greatly. So look, we're going to talk about love bombing. Everyone, we all want to feel loved. We all want to feel special. But you got to beware of the insidious love bomb. So look, narcissists, they are very charming and they're persuasive at the beginning of the relationship. I mean, everybody likes the narcissist at the beginning of the relationship or the beginning of when they meet them because they are so outgoing and so charming. So look, at the beginning of a relationship, they may shower you with gifts, compliments, attention, making you feel like you are the most special person in the world. Now, this is known as love bombing. So love bombing, it's a term that is thrown around a lot these days. I actually think I heard it on TV the other day. But you want to ask, so what does it actually mean? What does it really mean? And how can you tell if you're being love bombed by a narcissist? So look, we know that narcissists like to control and manipulate. So love bombing, it is a manipulation. It's a manipulation tactic that is used to gain control over the person they're enticing, the victim. So it usually happens at the beginning of the relationship. The narcissist is trying to win over their new partner or new supply. So love bombing, it's the first stage that is in the narcissistic cycle of abuse. They aren't able to maintain the love bombing for too long. So it might be, the first month or so. It might last a little longer depending on the person. But then they will start to kind of go back and forth to oscillate between love bombing, devaluing, and then discard. And of course, we know about hoovering, and it could start over again. Love bombing, devaluing, discard. All depends on the situation. So once the narcissist has gained control of their victim, they will begin to show their true colors. They can't maintain the level of fakery forever. So sooner or later, all that love, attention, it will disappear. And sometimes it will leave the victim feeling confused, hurt, and abandoned. And so, it is a cycle that they periodically go through. And sometimes they have different people in different parts of the cycle, depending on how many they have in rotation. So, when it leads to the second stage, the devaluation stage, that's the next stage after love bombing. So love bombing is used by narcissists, by sociopaths and psychopaths, other types of manipulative and very toxic people. So the goal is to make you feel good, to make you feel like they want you. And it is something that, you'll ask yourself, is this too good to be true? And if you have to ask yourself if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. So you might want to start looking to see if there are additional red flags. And you really need to listen to those red flags, unlike I did. So you met somebody, you felt like, maybe it's too good to be true. They were maybe showering you with the compliments, the attention, and made you feel like the most special person in the world. So if that has occurred, you might be a victim of love bombing. Sometimes that can happen in normal relationships. So I'm not going to say that every time that happens, that's love bombing. But if you think that you are a victim of love bombing, you probably need to know some of the signs to look out for, just in case. It's kind of the checklist, the test to verify if it's possibly love bombing. So look, they're overly complimentary. In the beginning, they like everything about you, your style, your hair, your work, just everything. They make you feel very good. They want to spend a lot of time with you. They have time. They'll meet you over. They may live on the north side. They'll travel over to the south side, spend lots of time. They're going to be there when you need them. They're available. They will buy you gifts. Let me think. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. So they are very much aware that this is the main stage. This is what sets the stage for the relationship. So look, there are some common phrases that you want to be aware of. That could be an indication that somebody is love bombing you. So look, if you hear, "You are my soulmate," I mean, right up front. When you hear "you're my soulmate," that might be a red flag. "You're the perfect man or woman." "You complete me." "I have never met anyone like you," or I'll never meet anyone like you again. Now, look, I heard almost all of those, but it was in a letter, a love letter that was given to me. Haven't been that far in, but hey, it sounded good. So look, here are 11 love bombing signs to watch out for. So look, they want to know everything about you right away. They are really fascinated by you, and they want to know all about your life. It seems to mesmerize them. And for you, you're like, oh, okay. They want to hear about my life. So they want you to share as many details about yourself as quickly as possible. And to you, it may seem unnerving because that's not really normal in the beginning, first, second day of a relationship. But at this point, you might wonder, why are they so curious? So look, love bombers, they're very interested in their partners. They often use sensitive information that you provide as a means of exploitation and manipulation later in the relationship. So let me just tell you, in other words, they may take what you say, and they remember everything you say, as a way to control you, to harm you, to damage your reputation. A lot of the damage of the reputation are lies, but they may sprinkle in a truth or two. So they want to dump their personal details on you fast. You probably will hear about how every woman or man has done them wrong before. You'll hear the sob story of the last ex and how terrible they were, how they cheated on them. And look, red flag is probably that the wife or the husband didn't cheat on them. Those are all things that they did to their partner. It's projection. So they want to do that because it speeds up intimacy. You wonder, oh, wow, they're opening up, they're sharing, they're communicating with me. And so it creates this level of closeness. You feel like, you're unique. You're privy to their secret world, and it makes you feel special, and it makes you feel connected. And they know this. They do know that when they share their last partner was this awful person, then they will gain sympathy from you. You got to look out for that because that's a red flag. They need constant validation. You need to keep reassuring them. You need to compliment them. And sometimes it'll seem like it's never enough. So they need to come back for more. And it sometimes leaves people, burnt out or resentful. But one of the things you have to know is if they're not getting attention from you, they're going to get it from someone else. It doesn't matter who they are, man or woman. They just need the attention to validate themselves because of their low self-esteem. So, it's a reassurance of their own worth, their greatness, and deep down inside, they truly feel insecure and fragile. And as a result, they rely on other people to affirm them. So another thing you might look for is these very intense declarations of love very, very soon in the relationship. You're their soulmate. No one understands them as you do. And they will repeat these sentiments over to remind you how irreplaceable you are, how irreplaceable this connection is, every chance they get. And so while these compliments, they can seem pretty flattering, they should be considered as a red flag if it happens too quickly, because it takes time to get to know someone, and falling in love shouldn't happen overnight. Furthermore, true commitment and closeness, it doesn't form that quickly. Now, there are different timelines for love, and some people who have true committed love have moved fast. So it's just a red flag to look out for. It doesn't mean that it necessarily is. But one of the things is they want to hurry you up, a pressure to commit. It might just have been a few days and they're already trying to make things official. Or maybe it's been a few months, and they want you to move in, or they want to marry you. So the idea of commitment, it might seem exciting. And, they are interested in you. They want to spend their life with you. But you have to wonder, are things moving too fast? And like I said earlier, all relationships move on different timelines. Some that are healthy can move quickly. Some that are unhealthy move too quickly. But if you are feeling pressure to commit, or you feel like it's something you're not ready for, you should give pause, because love bombers use this tactic to test that their partner won't leave. So another thing that they like to see is saying all the right things. So no matter what the situation is, they always know how to make you feel better. And It's great. That is a wonderful quality. And that's a quality in very good relationships. And they seem to read you so well. And, you feel like this is a rare gift. Maybe I have met my soulmate, and you feel incredibly grateful, especially if you haven't had that in the past. But over time, it could seem somewhat hollow or disingenuous. Again, this is another sign just to look for. Doesn't mean it is. You have to decide how much time you're willing to put in to look at it. So love bombers pay close attention to other people. They are skilled at charm, at social intelligence, and they're able to form bonds with people pretty quickly, form that closeness. So real love, it isn't perfect, but love bombers, they aim to behave perfectly, even when it seems like unrealistic, maybe too good to be true. One other thing to look for is intense clinginess. So in the beginning, they want to spend every moment with you. And in beginning relationship, that happens. But they want to text, they want to call you nonstop. They'll stay on the phone with you 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, then you got to go to work. But they don't know how to entertain themselves when you're gone. So they may seem clingy and demand your time and your attention as much as they can get. So this clinginess comes from a profound place of insecurity. There's something that's happened early on in their childhood that makes them have this sense of insecurity and needing reassurance. And this certainly does manifest in love bombing. They want you to be thinking of them at all times. Even if you can't be physically with them, they want to ensure that they're on your mind. So these expensive gifts, sometimes over the top expensive gifts, I loved receiving flowers, but some people have told me, instead of receiving a bouquet of roses, they might get 6 or 10, 20. They might give you fancy jewelry in the first week or so. If you say you're having some kind of problem, TV, laptop, they might buy you a new one. And while all this seems very kind, it can also be kind of excessive and awkward in the beginning of a relationship. Gifts can be the way that people show love, but it also, in this situation, can be seen as exploitive and manipulative. So at the core level, the people who are receiving the gifts feel somewhat indebted to receiving these kinds of gifts and presents. So as a result, the love bomber or the narcissist, toxic person, has more power and control in the relationship. Another thing you want to consider is about jealousy. Jealousy is a big one. They may get upset if you want to spend time, with your friends or with your family. And sometimes it's not just about other people. It could be your obligations, like work obligations, personal passions, other interests. And as a result, you might begin to feel kind of guilty or kind of annoyed if you feel that all your time is being, that you have to give a lot of the time away when you have your own independence or your time away, your boundaries to continue to focus on yourself. So some forms of jealousy in relationships, they're perfectly normal. We all feel a little bit protective of our person. But they're not all destructive, but if it is persistent and it's intense, it could be manipulative. And furthermore, it tends to be toxic when you're trying to maintain intimacy and encouraging personal autonomy. So look, when I was in a relationship with my person, I found out late at the end of the relationship that he had been secretly jealous and envious of me. And I found that kind of strange. Like, why would you be envious of the person you're in a relationship with? But I found out that I was in a secret competition with him and he was going to win at all costs. So to get in control of me, he wanted to take away my financial resources, literally leave me homeless and perhaps suicidal. And so that I would go to him for things that I needed. He didn't want me to have any personal power or independence of my own. And, I didn't even know I was in the secret battle. And he wanted to win at all costs. There's a lot more to the story, and maybe I'll share it with you at some other point. But in that case, real red flag. Your person should not be competing with you or jealous or envious. They should be supportive of you and the things that you do. So you might be embarrassed at the intensity of your relationship because friends and family might wonder, why is this moving along so fast? And you don't want to be judged. But at some level, you might be questioning that too. and wondering if it's too good to be true. Again, healthy relationships can start that way, but these are things to look at. And if you're checking off all of them, it could be that you're dealing with love bombing. So abusive relationships, they don't always look the same. They're not black or white, but you need to listen to your intuition. Intuition is powerful. Discernment is powerful. Sometimes we don't listen to that, and we get into trouble by pushing away our intuition, the red flags that we're seeing. Another thing to consider is sudden coldness or withdrawal. They were all nice and friendly in the beginning, but they seem to be getting annoyed, or they're distant or angry. And you have no idea where this change is coming from, but it can be very alarming, very confusing. For example, at the end of my relationship, I noticed that kind of behavior. It was very odd to me because the personality completely changed. So look, they can't continue the love bombing forever. At some point, the mask starts to fall. The perfect facade starts to crack. And if you want to put some boundaries in, you're going to probably see some things slow down, because that is when they start seeing your flaws and it becomes unacceptable to them. So look, if you think you might be a victim of love bombing, the best thing for you to do is to educate yourself. I will recommend therapy. Therapy offers safe and a very encouraging environment for you to explore your feelings on your relationship. And your relationship, won't tell you what to do, but they'll help you to explore your feelings, options, and support in making decisions about your emotional well-being. And that's what's most important, your emotional well-being. So you want to look at a therapist who specializes in narcissistic personality disorder abuse, because they're well aware of the characteristics and what you might be going through and the cycle of abuse. So it's very helpful if they're educated. You can start your search online. I found online therapists and support groups that were online. So if you don't have a whole lot of time, you might be able to do it through Zoom or some other option available online. I believe in God. I don't know what anyone else believes in, but I just want to share. I received the best from looking to the Most High God. I was guided through all of my emotional trauma. He guided me through healing and growth to lead me to the other side of pain. And so, again, I'm not sure who you look to, but I encourage you to, whatever or whoever you look to ask for help. I would not have made it through without the support of God, my angels, my ancestors, and my spirit guides. It truly was what got me through to the other side. So look, more information, if you want more information on narcissistic personality disorder, please check out the next video in our series. And also feel free to use the comments to share your experience with NPD.